Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. And look at this. It's the Motor Synth. Yeah, I was one of the backers 1.5 years ago, and today it finally arrived all the way from Riga in Lithuania. And let's see, does it deliver on all its promises and does it work at all? Here we go. The Motor Synth is an electromechanical synthesizer which creates sounds by spinning motors, kind of like a floppatron on steroids. It's extremely well built, a sturdy device in a metal case with a tiny window which allows you to see the engine spinning. The user interface consists of knobs for each function and a tiny but clearly readable screen in the top right. On the back, we find the standard 5-pin MIDI in and out ports, as well as a USB connector, which can be used for MIDI and transferring patches and firmware updates. There's also connectors for controlling Eurorack synths, and a stereo effects send and return, which is located before the synth's analog filter. There's also audio in and out, and a headphone connector. At the moment, many of these features, like the vocoder effect, are not finished, but the manual says they're included in a soon-to-be-released update. Remember, this is a pre-release machine. On the right side of the synth, there's a slot for an SD card, which holds all your patches and your sequences. There's also a vent for dispersing hot air, because the motors need to be cooled with a fan. And here's the Motor Synth. Besides the digitone, as you can see, it's quite a bit larger and a lot heavier, so it's not exactly for traveling. Okay, so this is the Motor Synth, and I'll walk through the most important features. We've got this, 8 keys over here, so you can play notes on them. And we've got these knobs here, so you can adjust the notes you can play on these keys. Alright, and over here we got volume control, cross modulation control, so you can choose between frequency modulation and ring modulation here. The tune of your patch and the tune of the second oscillator. And over here we've got the oscillator and amplitude envelope controls. So for example, let's listen to all the waveforms which are possible here. This is a sine wave. This is a saw wave. This is a square wave. And here we got the actual sound of the electrical motors in here. Alright, on we go. We've got 4 octaves you can choose for your oscillators. Okay, and then we've got the amplitude envelope control, so let's start creating a small patch here with a saw wave. Now, if you turn this knob, you can adjust the attack, and then press this button or this knob down once, so now you can adjust the decay phase. Press once more and you can adjust the sustain loudness. And press once more to adjust the release. Alright. Okay, then we've got this acceleration and brake feature, which is some kind of glorified portamento. So at the moment, if I play some notes here, the pitch will go up immediately or almost immediately, but if I turn the acceleration down all the way, you can hear the difference. Alright. And over here we've got the tone. All the way up means it's the most brightest sound, and all the way down will create a very bass-heavy sound. Okay, let's go on. Here we got the filter section. You can turn on the analog filter individually for each oscillator. So let's turn on the filter here and listen to this once again. So we got a selection of 12 decibel low pass, 24 decibel low pass filter, the band pass filter and the high pass filter. And of course we've got resonance once again. And we've got filter drive. And we also got the filter envelope. So once again, if you adjust the amount of enveloping the filter. So now let's turn the filter a bit down and let's adjust this. Let's listen to some other filters. This is the 24 decibel low pass filter. Here's the band pass filter. And here's the high pass filter. Alright, let's move on. Here's the controls for the sequencer, so you can record notes and play and stop them. This feature is not implemented yet. It will come in a future firmware update. But you can at least use this latch button. When you press this down, then the synthesizer will hold the note you play, which is quite useful if you're trying to adjust the overall sound. So we've got the possibilities here I already mentioned. You can adjust the tuning of these keys. And the last segment here is the LFOs, or modulation. So you can choose different LFO shapes: random, triangle, square wave, and two kind of saw waves. And here you can adjust pitch and loudness modulation and the frequency modulation or resonance modulation of the filter. And you can synchronize that to the tempo of your song. And of course you can adjust the speed of the LFOs manually. Let's listen to this. And now let's adjust the filter envelope. Now let's listen again. Let's try something else. For example, pitch modulation on the first oscillator. When you hold alternate and the shape control, then you can insert more steps into this LFO effect you just heard. Let's stick to 3 notes. Okay, let's add a second oscillator. And let's choose another waveform. And let's activate the filter. once again, let's check the sound with the motors as oscillators. Yeah, and that concludes my overview on the Motor Synth's engine. I didn't cover all the features which I implemented yet, and I apologize for the distortion when using the filter drive feature. I didn't have this in control. So yeah, if you have any questions regarding the synth, please post them in the comments and I will try to answer them in my upcoming videos. And I will post some more musical stuff in the coming days, so keep an eye out on this channel. And if you found this interesting and want to see more of this, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.